Welcome to the Workplace Minute, powered by H3HR Advisors and sponsored by WorkHuman. Thanks for joining me for a quick update on what's important in the world of work. My name is Steve Boese. This week on the Workplace Minute, we're revisiting 3 workplace issues that once dominated the conversation, but have received less attention recently. They may have moved out of the headlines, but they've not gone away. And in many cases, the early predictions, promises, and controversies have now given way to harder questions about cost, access, implementation, and who ultimately benefits. Today, we're looking at another one of the biggest workplace trends of the past several years, skills-based hiring. A few years ago, it seemed as though the labor market was on the verge of a fundamental transformation. Large employers announced they were removing bachelor's degree requirements from thousands of jobs, and business leaders argued that degrees had become an imperfect proxy for capability. And HR teams began talking about how hiring for demonstrated skills and potential and experience were more important than educational credentials alone. Now, this idea makes sense. Millions of capable workers have gained valuable skills through military service, community college, apprenticeships, certifications, on-the-job experience, or simply just years of doing that work. And if employers focused more on what people could actually do instead of where or if they went to some school, then the available talent pool would grow and opportunities would become more accessible. Today, that vision is still very much alive. Many organizations continue investing in things like skills taxonomies, internal talent marketplaces, AI-powered skills inference, and workforce planning build around capabilities rather than modern job titles. Skills have become one of the central organizing principles for modern talent management and underscore an entire category of HR technology. But if we look at the labor market itself, the picture is more complicated. Employers have indeed reduced formal degree requirements for some positions. And research from organizations, including the Burning Glass Institute, have shown meaningful progress, particularly in middle skill occupations such as information technology support, operations, customer service, and certain administrative and technical roles. But at the same time, progress is still uneven. Many organizations that remove degree requirements have continued hiring a high percentage of workers who already possess bachelor degrees. In other words, the requirement may have disappeared from the job posting without disappearing from the hiring decision itself. That isn't necessarily because employers are acting in bad faith. When hundreds of applicants compete for a single opening, degrees often remain an easy signal for recruiters and hiring managers to evaluate, even when they're no longer officially required. So while skills-based hiring has expanded opportunity, degrees continue to influence hiring outcomes in many parts of the labor market. So that creates an interesting contradiction. At the very moment, employers have become more willing to question whether a college degree should be required for many jobs, younger Americans are carrying a record level of student loan debt accumulated in pursuit of those same degrees. Americans now owe well over $1.7 trillion in federal student loans, and millions of younger workers entered adulthood believing that earning a bachelor's degree was the essential first step towards career success. Today, many of those same employers are saying that demonstrated skills may matter just as much. That doesn't mean that college has lost all of its value. For many professions, including healthcare, engineering, law, education, accounting, and many others, degrees remain essential. Higher education also continues to produce important economic and career benefits over a lifetime for many graduates. But the labor market is becoming more nuanced than the simple message many students heard growing up, that success required earning a 4-year degree. And it's too bad that it often comes with 5- and 6-figure levels of debt to obtain that degree. Today, increasingly, employers are looking for evidence that candidates can solve problems, learn new technologies, adapt to changing work, and continuously develop new capabilities. More commonly, those assessments are what matters, not what a resume looks like or what degree of formal education has been earned. Additionally, artificial intelligence is accelerating this shift even further. As work changes more rapidly, the shelf life of technical knowledge continues to shrink, and employers increasingly value people who can learn, adapt, collaborate with AI, and acquire new skills throughout their careers. Those capabilities often matter as much as knowledge gained years earlier in a classroom. Ironically, AI may become one of the strongest arguments in favor of skills-based hiring. When work itself evolves every year, employers place greater value on learning agility than on any single credential earned at one point in time. So where does that leave us today? Skills-based hiring has absolutely influenced how employers think about talent. It has reshaped HR technology, internal mobility, workforce planning, and job architectures. But it has not replaced degrees in the labor market nearly as quickly or as completely as many predicted. The future is unlikely to be one that pits degrees versus skills. Instead, employers will increasingly evaluate the combination of education, demonstrated capability, relevant experience, certifications, continuous learning, and adaptability. And the strongest candidates won't simply be the ones with the right degree. They'll be the ones able to show they continue to build new skills throughout their careers. And perhaps that's the biggest lesson over these past several years. Skills-based hiring was never really about eliminating degrees. It was about recognizing that learning doesn't stop when someone graduates. And as work continues to evolve faster than ever, employers may ultimately place greater value on people who can keep learning than on where they first learned. A big thank you to WorkHuman for supporting the Workplace Minute. Be sure to subscribe to the HR Happy Hour Network on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Steve Boese, and this has been the Workplace Minute from H Advisors.